First of all, my dear brothers and sisters, thanks for being here in my YouTube channel. So in this lesson number 1 on the topic ordinary differential equation, so now we are going to learn introduction part 3. So friends, it's part 3 video, so don't forget to watch all the previous part. So in part number 1, what I have told you is, I have told you the basic format, that is general format of ordinary differential equation. So based upon the general format, it can be second order, or it can be third order, or it can be first order. So based upon the general format, how the questions will be asked in your exams. So that's the stuff we have learnt in introduction part 1. So in introduction part 2, what we have learnt is what are all the different sort of questions they can ask from the topic ordinary differential equation. So only there are 3 stuff. One is they can ask you to find the complementary function, that is called a CF, complementary function for the given question, or else particular integral, shortly called as P dot I, and the third will be the complete solution. So these 3 questions they can ask from the topic ordinary differential equation. So now in this video, that is in introduction part 3, what we are going to learn is, if you need to find the complementary function of the given question, first you need to know how to solve this equation and how to find the roots. Got it, friends? So this is the thing what we are going to learn in this part number 3. So here I have taken 7 sample questions, 7 example questions. We are going to solve all these 7 questions, and we are going to learn how to find the roots for this equation. So friends, listen here, we have learned all those steps in the childhood itself. 5th standard or 6th standard itself, we have learned all these equation techniques. But anyway, we would have forgot all those steps. We can learn again. But remember one thing, this is the first step to solve the question. First step of ordinary differential equation. You have to know how to solve this equation and how to find the roots of the equation. Got it? So this is the thing we are going to learn in this lesson number 1, part number 3. So let me move on to all the 7 questions for finding the roots. So example number 1. So first example is what m square. So m square plus 2m plus 1 is equals to 0. So friends, remember one thing. So our target is to solve this equation, and we need to find what is the roots of the equation. So first step what you need to do is just look at the last number. What is the last number here? Plus 1. Got it? So plus 1 will be the last number. So now what you need to do is, if you multiply any 2 numbers, right? If you are going to multiply any 2 numbers, the resultant should be 1. If you add both the numbers, the resultant should be plus 2. I hope you remember this, right? We have learned all those steps in the schoolings. Got it, friends? What you need to do is, first step, write the last number. So plus 1 here. So 2 numbers that we are going to multiply, we need to think and guess, right? The 2 numbers that you are going to multiply, the resultant should be plus 1. If you add the same 2 numbers, the resultant should be plus 2. So what value you will use here? Just 1 and 1. Got it? So 1 into 1, if you multiply both the numbers, 1 into 1 will be 1. If you add 1 and 1, resultant will be 2. Got it or not? How I wrote this? So this will be the important step to solve the equation. If you can't able to understand it, don't worry. We are going to solve many questions. You can able to understand it while solving all those stuff. But understand the logic. Got it? So the 2 numbers that you are going to multiply here, the resultant should be this number. The same 2 number, if you add, the resultant should be this number. Got it? So if you multiply 1 and 1, answer will be 1. If you add 1 and 1, the resultant will be plus 2. So finally, how to write this? M square, right? M square first term as it is. And here only 1 should be written as m. Got it? Here also only 1, right, as m, and the last number 1 as it is equals to 0. So for the first 2 number we can take m common, so m plus 1. So plus 1 into m plus 1 is equals to 0. So m plus 1 into m plus 1 is equals to 0. So finally we can say that m1 will be minus 1. Similarly m2 will be minus 1. Got it? So finally we found the roots of this equation, that is minus 1 comma minus 1. Understood? You have to write this entire step. Only then our teachers will give you a mark. By just writing this and writing the final answer, no teacher will give you marks. Right? The steps are most important. Got it? So write m square as it is and the last term as it is. We have split this 2m as 1 and 1. That should be written as m plus m. So for the first 2 term, take m common. For the second two term, 1 common. So finally m plus 1 here, the remaining m plus 1 here. So m plus 1 is equal to 0, then m will be minus 1. So m1 is equal to minus 1 and m2 will be minus 1. So finally we can say that the roots of this equation will be minus 1 comma minus 1. Got it or not? The same stuff we have learned in the childhood itself. But not to worry about it. Even if you can't able to understand this, wait, we can solve all the remaining question. Surely you can able to understand it. Got it? So answer for the first question where the roots are minus 1 comma minus 1. So second question. So second question is m square plus 5m plus 4 is equals to 0. Got it? So what should be the first step? You need to write the last number plus 4 here. Got it? Now, so think the two numbers that we are going to multiply, the resultant should be 4. When you add the same two numbers, the resultant should be what? It should be 5. In case if I write 2 and 2, example I am saying, if I am writing as 2 and 2, just multiply and see. 2 into 2 is what? 4. But when you add 2 plus 2, the resultant should be 5. No, we are not getting it. If you add 2 and 2, the resultant is 4. But our target is to get 5. Got it or not? So now think what we can do here. So when you put 4 and 1, got it or not? 4 and 1. So now multiply and see. 4 into 1 is what? 4. When you add 4 plus 1, resultant will be 5. So finally, we have found the right numbers. Got it or not? So writing this number is most important. So this area plays a major role to solve this question. Understood how I wrote it? First I have taken 2 into 2. If I multiply 2 into 2, I am getting 4. But while adding 2 plus 2, the resultant is again 4. But our target is to get 5. So 2 and 2 will be wrong. So guess another number. So 4 and 1. If you multiply 4 and 1, resultant will be 4. If you add 4 and 1, resultant will be 5. So now what you need to do is write the first term as it is. Got it? This 5m we have split it as 4 and 1. So this should be written as 4m. Got it? Instead of 4, 4m. Instead of 1, that is m, plus 4 is equals to 0. So first term and the last term we need to write as it is, and this center term alone based on the numbers we have to split here, right? So for the first two term, m will be common, that is m plus 4. For the second two term, 1 will be common, m plus 4 is equals to 0. So finally m plus 4 is common. So write m plus 4 one time and the remaining term m here plus 1 here. So m plus 1 is equals to 0. So finally m plus 4 is equals to 0, m plus 1 is equals to 0. So m will be minus 4. So m2 will be minus 1. Got it? So finally we can say that answer for question number 2 will be minus 4 and minus 1. So this is called as the roots of the equation. So friends, understood? So question number 3. So question number 3 is what? M square minus 3m plus 2 is equals to 0. So very important question. So similarly, what should be the first step? You need to target the last number. So last number is what? Plus 2. So if you split this number, the number that we are going to multiply here, the resultant should be plus 2. But listen carefully. If you add both the numbers, the resultant should be what? Minus 3. Got it or not? When you multiply both the numbers, we should get an answer as plus 2. When you add the same both the numbers, the resultant should be what? Minus 3. Got it? So what we can do here is, we can put the number as minus 2 and minus 1. If you multiply both the numbers, just multiply and see. Minus 2 into minus 1 is what? Minus of minus will be plus. So 2 into 1 will be 2. Yes. While multiplying both the numbers, we are getting an answer as plus 2. Now add both the numbers. Minus 2 and minus 1 is what? Minus 3. Yes or no? We are getting it. Friends, got the logic. You have to think and you have to write the numbers. So if you multiply minus 2 and minus 1, resultant will be plus 2. If you add the same number minus 2 and minus 1, the resultant will be minus 3. So finally, we have found the roots. Now what you need to do is m square. Got it? So you have to write this minus 3m as based on this format. So minus 2m and minus 1 should be written as minus m and the last term 2 as it is. Got it? So now for the first two term, we got m as common, that is m minus 2. Now here we have minus m plus 2. So take minus 1 outside. So resultant will be m minus 2 is equals to 0. Got it? So m minus 2 same. So m minus 2 here. The remaining will be m and minus 1. That is m minus 1 is equals to 0. So finally we can say that m minus 2 equal to 0. So m1 is equal to 2. So similarly m minus 1 is equal to 0. So m will be 1. So finally we can say that answer for this question where the roots of the equation will be 2 comma 1. So friends, understood? So this will be the most important area to solve the equation. If you practice more number of questions, automatically you can able to say the value, but it requires lot of practice. So that's the reason we are going to solve many questions on this lesson. So don't worry about it. Once you understood the logic, then solving all the toughest question will be easy. So finally answer for this question number 3 where the roots are 2 comma 1. So question number 4. So m square minus 5m plus 6 is equals to 0. So what should be the first step? I hope after solving 3 questions you might know the logic, right? So what is the first step? So write the number plus 6 here. So the two numbers that you are going to multiply, the resultant should be what? Plus 6. When you add the same two numbers, the resultant should be what? Minus 5. So think and solve. If I go with minus 6 and minus 1, example I am saying. If I am going with minus 6 and minus 1, if you multiply minus 6 into minus 1, the resultant will be plus 6. But when you add minus 6 and minus 1, the resultant will be minus 7. But our target is to get minus 5. So what we can do here is we can go with minus 3 and minus 2. Now multiply and see. If you multiply minus 3 and minus 2, the resultant will be plus 6. If you add minus 3 and minus 2, the resultant will be minus 5. So finally we have found the right numbers. Got it? So now what will be the next step? So write the first term as it is, m square, and split the minus 5m as according to the number what we wrote here. So minus 3m, and here minus 2, that is minus 2m. So write the last 6 as it is equal to 0. Understood, friends? So now m square minus 3m. From the first two term, take m common. So this will be m minus 3. So here minus 2 and here minus 6, minus 2 common. So this will be m minus 3 is equals to 0. Friends, understood or not? Always you need to bring the two numbers same. Right? So here if I have taken minus 2 outside, the remaining m will be there. So minus 2 outside will be minus 3. Got it? So now what we can do is minus m should be written once, m minus 3, and here m and minus 2 will be m minus 2 is equals to 0. So finally we can say that m1 will be 3 and m2 will be 2. Got it? So this will be the roots of the equation, that is for question number 4. So question number 5. So m square minus 4m plus 3 is equals to 0. So what is the first step? So write the number plus 3 as it is. So plus 3 here. So the number that you are going to multiply here, the resultant should be plus 3. So if you add the same two numbers, the resultant should be minus 4. What is the number? We can say minus 3 and minus 1. Yes or no? Just multiply and see. If you multiply minus 3 and minus 1, resultant will be plus value. If you add minus 3 and minus 1, the resultant will be minus 4. Got it? So now split the number. So m square, first term as it is. So we have split this minus 4m as minus 3m and minus m. Got it? So minus 3m and minus m. And the last number 3 as it is equals to 0. So from the first two term, take m outside, that is m minus 3. So from the last two term, we can say minus 1 outside, resultant will be m minus 3. Always remember that we have to bring the two terms should be same. Here m minus 3, here you should not bring as m plus 3. That is wrong actually. You need to bring m minus 3 same. Got it? So m minus 3, write it as once, m minus 3. So the remaining will be m and minus 1. So m minus 1 is equals to 0. So finally we can say that m minus 3 is equal to 0. So m will be plus 3. So similarly m minus 1 is equal to 0. So m will be 1. Got it? So finally we can say that this will be the roots of the equation for question number 5. Question number 6. Question number 6 will be m square minus m is equals to 0. Just listen here. In all the previous equations, right? In all the previous equation, we have a last number, right? A constant here. So what we initially did, we wrote the constant here, and then we found what numbers we can multiply and we can get the answer. But here if you see, we don't have any constant at the last. So it is easy, right? We have only two terms, that is m square minus 1. So in both the term, which is common? M is common. So take m outside, m minus 1 is equal to 0. Friends, understood or not? M square and m. In both the terms, we have letter m. So take m outside. So if you take m outside, the first term m will be there and the second term will be 1 is equal to 0. So m into 0, so value will be m is equal to 0, and the second term m minus 1 is equal to 0, m will be 1. So finally we can say that m1 will be 0 and m2 will be 1. This will be the roots of the equation. So friends, understood how I wrote this? Here we don't have any constant. In case if we have a constant like plus 2, plus 4 after this m, we have to go with how we solved previously. But here we don't have any constant after m. So it is better to solve the equation directly. From both the terms, I have taken m outside. So remaining will be m minus 1. So first term m is equal to 0 and the second term m minus 1 is equal to 0. So finally we got the value of m1 is equal to 0 and m2 will be 1. So the last seventh question will be m square minus 4 is equals to 0. Just listen here. Similarly, how the equation should be like m square, m and a constant. This is the general format of the equation. But here we have m square, but we don't have an m. So we don't want to solve in that way what we previously learned. Similarly, take the number outside. Right? We can say m square minus 4. If you bring this minus 4 towards right hand side, it becomes plus 4. Understood or not? So m square is equal to 4. So m will be square root of 4. So m will be plus or minus 2. Got it or not? While removing always the square root, you will get plus or minus. So for this, square root of 4 will be 2. Understood? So don't stop like this. Write the root as m1 will be plus 2 and m2 will be minus 2. Got it? Plus or minus 2. So answer can be plus 2 or else minus 2. So we can write m1 as plus 2 and m2 as minus 2. So friends, got it. So finally in this video we have solved 7 equations. I have just an example question. So while solving topic questions, there we can able to learn all those stuffs clearly. But before learning all those steps, we have to know the basics. So that's the reason I am teaching how to find the roots for this equation. So I hope you understood this logic. So in the next video, that is in part number 4, we are going to again solve some of the equations that is based on minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. We have learned the formula. So based upon this formula, how we need to find the roots. So that's the stuff we are going to learn in the next lesson. So after learning all the 4 lessons, after learning the next lesson, you can directly go and watch the questions. Definitely you can able to understand it. Got it? So thank you so much for watching this video. And if your friends are also preparing for this engineering mathematics and they are too, if they are feeling hard to study, share this video to them. Definitely they can able to clear the exams. So thank you so much for watching it. Bye.